Today, I'm making this DIY bath tray and I'm going to show you how to do it for any bath you want, even if it's resting against the wall like this with no support. I couldn't find many tutorials on how to do this bath tray against the wall, but I'm going to show you exactly what you need to know so that you can make this work for yourself. If you or someone you know likes taking baths, I think you'll enjoy this. So with that, let's get started. Before cutting, I went to the bathtub that I was making this custom for, which is my sister's, and I measured out how wide her tub was, and it was 33 3/4 inches. So I decided to measure and cut this board to be 37 inches long so that there was a little bit of overhang. Then I also cut a 1-inch strip that I'm going to use to hook onto the bath, and then I just sanded the whole thing down. I used a round over bit on my router to go around and give the top edge of the tray a smooth, round feel. On the bottom, I just took some 40 grit sandpaper and went around the edges to smoothen it out without giving it a full round over like the top. I also sanded the strips so that I could drill pilot holes, countersink it, and then screw it to the tray. Since this bathtub is against the wall, I'm only doing one of these strips, and then I'll show later how I'm going to support it on the other side. I initially didn't screw the strip in the perfect spot, so I came to check it and then marked exactly where it needs to get screwed into the tray to securely hook on the bath and fit across it. So I unscrewed and re-screwed it where I marked, and it fit nicely this time. Now I know there still isn't support on the far side, but don't worry, we'll get to that. Before staining, I made sure to get it prepped by working my way up from 120 to 240 grit sandpaper. Quick leaf blower feature to get the dust off, and then I was ready to stain. Then I got started with the first coat of this dark walnut stain and spar wood stain. When you're staining, try not to leave blotches by going too heavy too fast in any areas. You could also use a primer, but I don't think that's necessary, and I didn't really want to buy one either. I also now like applying it with this microfiber cloth instead of the brush. I feel like I can just work it into the grain a little better when I'm using it, but I don't know, do whatever you want. I ended up doing 3 coats of this stuff with a light sand in between. Now I wanted to install these handles. I got them for a few bucks each at Home Depot, and I just screwed them in from the bottom with the screws that they came with. I made sure to make them equal from each side, and I made it around 4 inches from each side laterally, and then I just checked to make sure it was centered vertically. Then just remember to pre-drill those holes and then screw it straight in. Then I did the same thing for the other side. I just used tape this time to mark the spots so it would show up easier than on the wood, and then I just pressed to make a little dent before drilling. And just like that, it's done. Well, almost. First, we have to give it that extra support on the far side of the tub, and the way I'm doing that is by sticking a strip of Velcro to the tile, and then I'll stick the other side onto the edge of the tray that will be going that side of the bathtub. So I lined up the tray and then tried my best to stick on the Velcro to the tray without letting in any air bubbles. While I was doing this, I took note of where the strip needed to end and just cut it with scissors. I also folded in the corners, and then I kind of just left the top how it was, but I probably could have folded that down too or just cut it. And now it's actually done. Time to make sure it works functionally, and then I'll decorate it for your viewing pleasure. If your tub isn't against the wall like this, you can just make it the same way I did, but put a strip on the bottom to hook to the other side, so you'll have 2 strips to hook each side. And I made a video doing it that way for a different bath if you happen to have a bathtub like that, and I'll put it in the description if you do want to check it out. Now it's time to light the candles and enjoy the view. Well, now you know how to make your own bath tray, and I encourage you to go and try it. My sister so far really likes it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial, and a huge thanks to all of you that stayed until the end. I really do appreciate it. I'll see you guys in the next one.